आदमी और कुर्सी में फ़र्क होना चाहिए. Let the chair not get to my head. Interesting story. This was in the year 2005. The late Pradeep Guha once told an advertiser. The advertiser was saying, as a broadcaster, you should do this for me, you should do that for me. Logo बदल दो, logo उल्टा कर दो, मेरा logo डाल दो, अपना channel का logo उड़ा दो. So Pradeep Guha, who used to lead Z and prior to that with BCCL, turned around and told him that the assumption in your conversation is that yours is a brand and mine isn't. Each one of the organizations I worked with is a brand in its own.
Absolutely.
So the other day we were speaking, few friends, and somebody said, who wants to be in this industry? And me and another very senior person in the industry were putting our hands up like school kids, saying, I want to be a part of this industry.
So I want to understand from you, what has been that one tough decision that you've taken?
Quite a deep question. The one thing that stands out is when COVID hit in March 2020, and I was informed like 1 week prior to COVID that I'll be leading the Unilever business. And Unilever is a mammoth engine that runs. So to change strategy overnight, to make the elephant dance, as they said, was something that was required. The folks who stay close to the consumer are doing it right. The people who think medium first may or may not be doing it right. Let me give you an example. There are still 160 million households in this country that consume linear television. But if you see some of the media plans of FMCG brands like ours, and those who've just completely gone off linear TV, it just seems like we are preparing for the future, but we are also executing the future today. Till 6 months back, this entire world of Gen AI seemed like science fiction. Right? Today we've set up a content studio in South Africa where we are able to churn out one video by the hour at a price that's 1/100th of what we were paying for content generation, and at great quality basis the matrices that we've put on evaluation. So it is good, it is cheap, it is fast. We've adopted it.
Welcome to BMI Podcasts. Today I have with me somebody who's seen media from all the sides. Meet Harshdeep Chhabra. He is the global media lead at Godrej Consumer Products. So Harsh has spent close to in fact more than 2 decades in the industry, seeing it expand from print to digital, from TV to CTV, and also from agencies to in-house media. So today we're going to talk to him and look at the marketing industry from his lens. And just stick around, this is going to be insightful and probably we'll get some life lessons as well. Welcome, Harsh.
Thank you, Akanksha. Pleasure, and welcome to the GCPL campus.
Thank you so much. It's very beautiful here.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice place, and the entire Godrej Industries group is based out of here, so a fantastic
it's very
campus.
Beautiful here.
Yeah.
So you once said, I was reading somewhere,
yeah,
that आदमी और कुर्सी में फ़र्क रखना चाहिए, पता होना चाहिए. So from where did you get this philosophy and how has it helped in your career?
Yeah, that's actually a line that's stayed with me for a while. This was a colleague of ours from the industry, a gentleman, God bless his soul, Vinod Nathan. He used to work with us at Z, and then he moved to Mindshare, and he was a buyer, and we were negotiating a deal. This was in the year 2006. We were negotiating a deal, and casually we asked him, कैसे लग रहा है आपको विनोद? अब आप उस साइड पे हो. That's when he turned around and said, यार I can be on any side, but आदमी और कुर्सी में फ़र्क होना चाहिए. Let the chair not get to my head. And I thought that was quite insightful. It just stayed with me that at the end of the day, look, we are not in the business of saving lives. We are not here to, we are not doctors. We are here as professionals of marketing who are out there to build brands, who are out there to make sure that our message reaches consumers. We can be sitting on any side of the table. I started my career in Z, spent a decent amount of time there. Then a large part of my life in the agency ecosystem at GroupM, as a combination of being in GroupM and in Mindshare leading the Unilever account. And then finally I've been here at GCPL on the client side for the last 2 years. But the relationships that have gotten built over a period of time, those are the ones that actually I need to cherish and I need to remember. Just because my context has changed doesn't mean I need to change as an individual. So I keep reminding myself of that. It helps me do well at my job, I feel.
So which is a more comfortable site, platform, agency or brand?
As long as you like what you're doing, everything is comfortable. I think fortunately for me, growing up, we had this entire explosion of the cable TV that happened, right? When India first saw Dish TV, and we used to have 4 channels coming into our homes. There was MTV, there was Prime Sports, ZTV, and another 4th one. But we had 4 channels coming into the house, and from there, watching Samsidi and Hum Panch and all of those shows, Wonder Years and these Bold and Beautiful, Santa Barbara, और उससे पहले बुनियाद, हम लोग, रामायण, महाभारत, और उससे पहले चित्रहार. तो मैं तो बचपन से ही टीवी देखता आ रहा हूँ.
पूरी फिल्म दिखा दी सब बोल के.
हाँ, रिवर्स में. So मैं तो बचपन से ही टीवी देखता आ रहा हूँ. I've been always like, I think I've been fortunate to do something in an industry which is a hobby for me. So I kind of enjoy being on whichever side of the table I've been.
I ask this question because sometimes people tell me that eventually everybody wants to work with brand. Settle होने के लिए, enough of platform and agencies, finally settle होने के लिए brand side चले जाते हैं लोग.
Let me tell you an interesting story. This was in the year 2005. The late Pradeep Guha once told an advertiser. The advertiser was saying, you are as a broadcaster, you should do this for me, you should do that for me. Logo badal do, logo ulta kar do, mera logo dal do, apna channel ka logo uda do. So Pradeep Guha, who used to lead Z and prior to that with BCCL, turned around and told him that the assumption in your conversation is that yours is a brand and mine isn't. So each one of the organizations I worked with is a brand in its own.
Absolutely. For me, BMI is the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So you've spent so many years in the industry. Do you ever look back or think that Akash मुझे किसी ने ऐसा बोल दिया होता before starting off in the industry? Something that you think that somebody could or should have told you when you started off?
I think if someone had told me that this is as dynamic an industry as it is, and that every day something or the other happens, it's new, it's interesting. See, we are in the world of content and we are in the world of telling stories, right? Why do people watch our ads? At the end of the day, they like the stories that we tell. And earlier in broadcasting also, people watch stories that we put. So we are here to entertain people. We are part of the entertainment industry. But it's extremely dynamic. What's interesting today will not be interesting tomorrow. So I wish someone had told me that there's never a day where you can sit back and relax because something or the other is going to happen. But I'm happy no one told me that. It's quite interesting.
So it's very aggressive. Your job takes a lot from you.
Like I said, if you're enjoying what you're doing, it keeps you, genuinely I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of folks in my, like people that I started my career with, those who have enjoyed being part of the industry are feeling really happy about it. So the other day we were speaking, a few friends, and somebody said, who wants to be in this industry? And me and another very senior person in the industry were putting our hands up like school kids, saying, I want to be a part of this industry.
Actually.
So agar maza aa raha hai, to then it's good. And don't mean this as a cliche, it's actually true,
I would now want to know from you that when you look back, what has been that one big surprise that you did not see coming in your career? Is there something like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very nice question, and I thought about it, when you said, but the multiple such so-called game-changing moments that happened, but the one that sticks out, the one that I didn't expect, was when I overnight moved from doing ad sales to doing investor relations at Z, right? And I was 28 years old at that point in time, selected by the chairman of Z to be a part of the investor relations team and be a part of his office. For me, in my life, that I think was a game-changing moment, because I got to learn so much. I got to learn so much about the industry. It opened my eyes out. For me, those 2 years that I did at investor relations at Z, working very closely with management over there, and that was also pretty much the time that Colors had launched. That was also pretty much the time where Lehman Brothers had happened. Very interesting times, and just watching how Subhashji led the organization at that point in time at Z, it was phenomenal. So for me, that was a big learning experience. It also got me to get out of this marketing and media thinking standalone to thinking of business holistically.
One needs to have good mentors at work.
Absolutely. I've been fortunate to have many such mentors in my life, all my bosses who I've worked with. I can name all of them, but...
Who's that one boss that you want to name?
We'll keep GCPL out of this conversation because that will be the politically right answer to give, but I think it'll be unfair for me to call one person out quite. I've learned something or the other from each one of my bosses. Somewhere I learned aggression, somewhere I learned how to have fun at work, somewhere I learned how to be analytical. From another gentleman I learned the advantage of hard work. From another gentleman I learned the power of negotiation. So it's been there. Of course, I did have one lady boss also at one point in time. From her, I learned how one should be flexible across one in the industry. She came from marketing into media, so a lot of things to learn from folks. So probably unfair to name one person. I think there is learning in something every day. It's not just about learning from bosses. You can learn from your peers. You can learn from your subordinates. I feel I learn from whosoever I interact with. So that's the biggest blessing that one has.
So my next question has come from the fact that I love to know how people deal with crisis. How do they come out of it? So I want to understand from you, what has been that one tough decision that you've taken which might have caused you sleepless nights, but you thought that that's right for the business?
Yeah, that's a very good question and quite a deep question. Again, the one thing that stands out is when COVID hit in March 2020, and I was informed like 1 week prior to COVID that I'll be leading the Unilever business at Mindshare. So, of course, that announcement happened and then COVID happened, right? And overnight, we were asked to recalibrate our entire strategy. And Unilever is a mammoth engine that runs. So to change strategy overnight, to make the elephant dance, as they said, was something that was required. I suppose at that point in time, just going out and having tough conversations with media owners to say, hey, listen, give us this kind of pricing because this is appropriate for us to get during the COVID period, was a tough conversation to have. But the way I convinced myself, the homework that I did was I put myself in the media owner's position and I worked out the P&L of the media owner, right? And I said, fair enough, your top line is hit, but you're saving on bottom line because you have no production costs at this point in time. So profitability wise, you're anyway doing all right. And that's how we worked out our maths on the kind of discounting that we wanted. The other thing is that, to my mind, genuinely as a negotiator, you have to think of what's in it for the other person. And at that point in time, we ensured that we didn't take money off the table. So we put money on the table because at that point in time, cash was king. So rather than asking for deep discounts in the month, we said, here's the money, here's the full money, but give us X amount of banking bonus for later. So we took the inventory much later. We negotiated in that form. I felt the media owners appreciated that because at that point in time, everyone needed cash. And I suppose that was the one differentiating thing between the way we negotiated during COVID versus of what we know of some of the other people who negotiated. That we kept money flowing.
So you had that liberty at GroupM to take these decisions?
Oh yes, Unilever is a fantastic client. Unilever genuinely partners with the agency, and we were again very fortunate to have a great person at the other end who understood the situation, and we were able to co-create these solves.
Quite an intelligent decision.
In hindsight, yeah, and quite a, I think we did right by the situation. Rather than sitting over there and throwing our weight and saying, hey, listen, I need this discount and I need it today.
So this was only for the COVID period?
It was only for the COVID period, obviously.
Okay. So you've seen media evolving. In the beginning only you mentioned about a lot of shows that we used to see long time back.
Yeah.
We've come from print to digital and to whatnot, I don't know, augmented reality next. So that's also part of digital then. But I wanted to understand from you that in this journey, according to you, what is that one big mistake that probably FMCG brands have made?
See, the way that we see this, I suppose the way that the guys who are doing this right versus the guys who are not doing this probably the way I would like to do it is how I would probably like to address what you're asking. The folks who stay close to the consumer are doing it right. The people who think medium first may or may not be doing it right.
Okay.
So, if at any given point in time you have proximity to the consumer, which is what our organization encourages, go into the market, meet people, go to the consumer's house, understand what she does, what is it that she's watching or what is it that she's consuming in media, and then you build your plan out of that. Rather than saying, I have this digital target to achieve, or I think that sitting in this glass building that I have with the Excel sheet in front of me, this is what data is suggesting. So people who are only focused on data or only focused on certain agenda of, running the way that they are aping their peers in the West, then it becomes a challenge. Because, let me give you an example, right? There are still 160 million households in this country that consume linear television. But if you see some of the media plans of FMCG brands like ours, and those who've just completely gone off linear TV, it just seems like we are preparing for the future, but we are also executing the future today. So, I think just being close to consumers is extremely important. Those who do it right, get it right. Those who tend to go or stay too much in the past, tend to...
So do you ever go out and speak to consumers yourself, or you just have your team and they churn out data for you?
It's not just me who goes out into the market. All of us who are part of the marketing community are in the market. 10 days a quarter we are with consumers or in trade, in shops, or sitting with media owners and understanding from media owners how they see consumers. So we go to different parts of the country, go into consumers' homes, sit with them, spend a day with them, understand their lives. And this is not restricted to cities. We go outside into rural areas, sit with the consumers of that market, and it's amazing to see the kind of insights that come out of that. What we do with that is we bring it back, we test, and then if it works as far as results are concerned on brand, then we scale.
So you've been on both the sides, agency and brand side.
Yeah.
Which one is easier? Agencies chasing clients or brands negotiating value?
I've also been on the broadcaster side chasing agencies to give monies of brand. So, which one's easier or which one's tougher?
Which one is easier, or you can answer which one
किसी
is
से भी
tougher?
पैसा लेना इतना कोई आसान नहीं है. At the end of the day, you have to show value irrespective of whether it is B2B or B2C. जिसको अगर benefit लगता है, if they see value in you, they will give it to you. So it's about how you craft your narrative around it. I used to find ad sales quite a challenge because, you see, you're sitting 2 steps removed as an ad sales person. आपको नहीं पता agency, why the agency is making the plan. Or many times agency also doesn't know what the client is planning in the larger scheme of things. So I think that's the toughest job, quite honestly, because you're a little removed from the end objective. To that extent, being on the client side, you're as close as possible to because you're controlling the budget, you know exactly why you're putting, what you're putting, where you're putting. So that's probably how it is.
That means selling ads, selling integrations is tougher.
Oh yes, I have maximum respect for people who sell, advertising inventory. And for those who sell niche channels, it's even more tough.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately for them, the BARC or any other rating system won't even show up. So It is
So
quite
when
a
you say
tough job.
niche, does that also mean regional or?
Well, niche, I mean anywhere where you probably have a special interest group. So it could be regional, it could be the likes of,
Regional is becoming quite a favorite of brands these days.
Yeah, it has been. The fact is that certain markets, we see that the consumption of media is happening in that language. And regionalization has been a trend. So till Doordarshan was there, it was only Doordarshan. Then we had this burst of many Hindi channels coming in and a few regional channels coming in. Then we had the regional channels coming in, but were for state, region was for the state. And now we have all of these dialects that have come through, thanks to influencers and all of that. So, but the beauty is that आप बाहर जाके पिज़्ज़ा पास्ता खा सकते हो, पर घर आके तो आपको दाल चावल ही खाना है ना, तो आप कितना पिज़्ज़ा पास्ता खाओगे, आप दाल चावल ही खाओगे. So it's the same thing. You will really enjoy content that in a language that you are comfortable in. And the more the content that gets generated, the more likelihood that people are going to go out and see it, and that's where we want to be as brands as well.
So in our recent stories that we've done, I've figured out that even for general entertainment, which is struggling a bit because of FMCG curbing their ad spends, for them also regional is the torchbearer for them. That's been there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, right? Again, it boils down to, can I reach that consumer in Maharashtra through my Hindi feed, or do I need Marathi feed? How much of my business comes from Maharashtra? Am I reaching my total addressable market in the rightful manner, at the cheapest cost, with the maximum amount of reach?
So GCPL has been the torchbearer of long-term relationships between agencies and clients, but that changed with the breakup with Madison. So what will drive your new relationship with Essence Mediacom?
See, first of all, I think it's extremely important to acknowledge the work that Madison has done for GCPL. Right? They've been true partners to us. The kind of involvement that their senior leadership had, from the top bosses, that kind of attention that they gave to the business, they treated as their own. And I think we will always remain grateful for the fact that they've contributed to making our brands, or contributing to the brands to where our brands are today. That said, to the question that you're asking, of what we aspire from any media agency, whether in India with Essence Mediacom, or in Indonesia with M6, or in Africa with Dentsu, or any of the agencies that we deal with, there are 4 T's that we work with, right? The first T is trading. Basically, their ability to get us best-in-class pricing at the scale at which we operate. And that is an extremely important factor. The second is technology. And how is it that they're bringing tools into our ways of working? How is it that they're enhancing our GAGA thinking? Marry that into attention, because attention is another important thing. Not all mediums are the same. So demographics into attention, how are they getting tools for us to look at media planning in the rightful manner? The third is troubleshooting, which is how is it that they are able to tell us about what is it that our consumers are doing, or what is it that our competition is doing. And the fourth is talent. And how is it that they're helping us upgrade. So sitting in India, we are quite blind to what's happening in the world of TikTok, for example. But thanks to a partner like Essence Mediacom, we are able to now, with their global scale, get an understanding so that we are able to deploy that in the US or in South Africa. So these are the 4 T's that we operate with. And any partner.
Why did this change happen last year? Because what you're saying stands true for even probably 4-5 years back. Why last year?
Yeah, I think over a period of time, our scale has increased. 4 years back, we were advertiser number 17. Today, we are advertiser number 3 on linear television in the country. Right? You can guess the number 1 and the number 2. But I can tell you that in the top 5 or top 7 advertisers in this country on linear TV, we are the only company of Indian origin.
At number 3.
Yeah, at number 3, and the only one in the top 7 who is a company of Indian origin. Right? So there is a certain amount of seriousness that we continue to deploy towards spending behind our brands to get to consumers. And at that scale, obviously, there are certain dynamics, plus the entire global situation coming in. where we've also started to invest very heavily. So let me tell you that in India, sitting out of India, we've got a trading desk, a programmatic trading desk, where we are deploying in 20 countries directly ourselves. Right? So we've got a lot of our markets. We operate in 80 countries globally through our exports business, and we deploy into those markets. So our global scale and importance towards advertising and pumping money behind media has gone up significantly. And that's where we had A.T. Kearney come in last year, run a transparent pitch process for us. We got Madison and GroupM amongst others to come in. There were multiple agency groups that came in and pitched. And there was a panel of 8 neutral people who sat through, took a call on who the agency needs to be. Multiple aspects were looked at. So there is a certain amount of seriousness that we want to continue to have towards our media investments.
So Harsh, is it also an emotional decision when you break up with some agency or some platform because you work so long, or it's just practical because business hai, karna hai?
Yeah, I mean, it's never easy. It's never easy to let go of partners who you've worked with day in and day out, who've really been there in the journey. But I suppose, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? And everyone recognizes, as long as you're being fair to the process, then it's absolutely fine. I've been on the agency side longer than I've been at the client side. So at any given point in time, there will be business losses that happen. There will be new business that happens. We are pitching, I'll go back in time and say, as when I was in GroupM, we were pitching for business, we were going out. As long as the process is fair, as long as there's transparency, as long as there's respect, you're treating the other person for the brand that they are, and not sitting over there and saying, hey, listen, I'm the client, you will do what I tell you to do. As long as there's partnership spirit of it, obviously there will be situations where people will feel a little aggrieved in any given situation.
Yeah.
More so when I was selling media. मेरे को तो लगता था हर कैंपेन में 100% पैसा मेरे को ही मिलना चाहिए, मेरे चैनल को, बट नहीं मिलता है. So that's the way it is.
Okay, understood. Got it. Coming to the next aspect of our chat, which is, I mean, we all know, basically your answer will make a difference to this question. Technology and consumers are changing like anything today, and it's making a marketer's life very tough. How far do you see it going? What kind of impact do you see it having?
See, let's take a step back on this, right? 25 साल पहले, if someone came and told you that you will not have an alarm clock, you will not have a torch, the walkie-talkie will cease to exist, camera will cease to exist, who would have believed it? That all of it will sit in one place. I go back to that, in the late 80s there was a show called, I used to call it Giant Robo. It was called, there was one show, one guy used to speak into his watch and one robo used to go out. Have you seen the show?
No.
Doordarshan, it used to come.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Thursday evening, 8:30. As you can see, I was a very avid consumer of content. But who would have believed that you can speak into a watch? Or when Knight Rider used to come, right? Who would believe that you can speak to your car and your car will speak back to you, or the car will drive by itself? So the point is that technology will continue to be there. Now, the thing is, the thing that actually defines, it's not the consumer who knows what they want. It is about the consumer adopting when technology is right for them. Let me give you what I mean by that. As long as technology is in this framework of what we call GCF, good, cheap and fast. What is good and cheap in technology typically is not fast. What is good and fast is typically not cheap. What is cheap and fast is typically not good. But when things are good and cheap and fast, when technology is able to provide something that's good and cheap and fast, whosoever is the recipient of that is most likely to adopt it very fast. Right? So, to my mind, technology will always continue to evolve. till 6 months back, till 3 months back, this entire world of Gen AI seemed like science fiction.
Yeah.
Right? Today we've set up a content studio in South Africa where we are able to churn out one video by the hour at a price that's 100th of what we were paying for content generation, and at great quality basis the matrices that we've put on evaluation. So it is good, it is cheap, it is fast. We've adopted it. And what I'm seeing right now is the pace at which this entire artificial intelligence journey is moving. It's phenomenal. So pertinent to our industry, what we're saying is that today it is art, or what we believe is today it is artificial intelligence, tomorrow it will be artificial imitation, day after tomorrow it will be artificial imagination. And there are signs of all of this happening right now. And we as consumers, and in this particular case B2B consumers of it, will adopt. So technology is here to help. Every time technology is come in, something is moved. If that weren't the case, many 1,000 years ago when the wheel was invented, so this world should have ceased to exist. So technology is there to help, and consumers adopt.
Have you implemented certain changes in GCPL's media strategy that you continue changing with the speed of technology in consumer?
Oh yes, absolutely. So we've got our tool called MASH, which is our media planning, budget allocation and media planning tool. And I was fortunate to walk into GCPL 2 years back and get that as a gift from this system, which had already built it. And we've continued to enhance on that tool and make sure that it is as pertinent and smarter than what it was yesterday. So that's one. The second is, I was telling you about this programmatic desk that we set up along with a SaaS partner. We are constantly at it because technology is there to support and results are there. And the reality is that our competition is doing exactly the same thing. So how do we continue to remain ahead of ourselves, and how do we continue to remain pertinent in this entire competitive ecosystem is what we keep ourselves true to.
So now that you've mentioned MASH, I want to understand, you think that models like MASH are threats to agencies, or probably जो middle level पे जो काम करते हैं उनका काम पे threat है ये?
नहीं, मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा नहीं है. मेरे हिसाब से agencies are also evolving, right? All that we are doing is we are automating something that is redundant work. Right? Again, I go back. There was a time when media plans were made on log, the वो log chart आता था ना हम लोग का, उसके ऊपर media plan बनता था. तो computer आने के बाद तो people should have vanished. So this is continued to be there. I don't think agencies are going to cease to exist because budget allocation is happening in a certain way. And the other big advantage that the agency has is the sheer clout of negotiation that they can bring onto the table. So as long as they are evolving themselves across these 4 T's that we spoke about, as per me, they will continue to be pertinent. And I do see a lot of our agency partners doing that. Staying.
But I think there would be job losses, no matter.
There would be job losses, there would be job creation. So today prompt engineering is something that's become really big. Now if you're smart enough, you will evolve. And again, not to sound too philosophical about it, but that's the law of nature, right? Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
So people have to continue to evolve. I think jobs will continue to be there. The nature of jobs will change.
Okay. I'm not sure how will you answer this question, but amid all this, we did not talk about creativity. So how do you, as coming from a background of media, you work on media agency side, platform, and taking care of media at GCPL now, how do you look at creativity? It's important. I mean, what importance it hold for you?
Yeah. Look, as we say, there is message and messenger. And it's extremely important that I as a messenger get a great message to take to my end consumer. And both have to marry up. There's no point of creating a great ad which nobody sees. Sometimes it's really bad to take a bad ad and get everyone to see it because it tends to do more harm than good. So it has to do, it's a combination of both, right? And then there is creativity. I mean, that's creativity in one sense of it, which is the ad creation. But there is a lot more that one can be creative around, like the creative use of data. So let me tell you what we did in Indonesia with HIT. The HIT brand, which is there in India, is also coincidentally the same brand that we acquired in Indonesia, which is a mosquito repellent. And that fights dengue causing infection spread through mosquitoes. So we picked data signals where we could see that dengue outburst is happening, and we were able to then go out and creatively deploy into that particular, pin code or sub-district and let people know that there is a dengue outbreak, be careful, use HIT. So that's also creative use of data. And
do you have example of any example that you've used data creatively in India?
I can tell you about multiple of those. I think the one that we were very, very excited about was the use of, let me tell you something that happened in the world of linear TV, where there is a particular panel that suggests something, right? But we took a step back and said that there are certain geographies when we are going and meeting people, it's not necessary that what the panel data is showing is what is happening in reality. So then we went out and looked at another panel data of television viewership. And we studied through that and our experience. And we realized that markets like Orissa, people outside of Bhubaneswar don't speak in Hindi, or as much Hindi as, a media plan typically shows. And that's when we upped some of our investments in Oriya satellite channels.
Okay.
So whether we call it creative use of data or smart use of data or being astute around data, as long as you are able to reach maximum number of people in the right way, at the cheapest cost, in a language they understand, on a platform where they're paying maximum attention, such that it has an impact on business, I think we're doing a great job of, anyone who's doing this is doing a great job of the entire media planning science and...
But as a viewer, as an observer of the industry, I think as an industry we need to use it more extensively. Itna creative use of data dikhta nahi hai, because when I go to Cannes, I see a lot of international work submitted in the creative use of data, and I see mind-blowing work happening. So I wonder that we must take inspiration. I mean, there's no harm taking inspiration.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Dekho, my realization around awards per se is that hathi ke dant khane ke aur dikhane ke aur, right?
Okay.
So we should move from awards for the sake of innovation to the awards for impact on business. I don't want to win a single industry award. The only award that I want to win is to see my company's top line grow and us beating the estimates that are there, us doing great as an organization as far as the share price is concerned, we doing justice to our shareholders. That's the biggest award that we can get. A lot of times what we see in these award ceremonies may not necessarily be what is happening in reality. The question that we need to come back from Cannes and ask is, did those people go out and deploy it at scale, and how much of an impact did it make on business?
Point to be noted.
Awards for the sake of awards, anyone can do.
So nowadays e-commerce and quick commerce are changing the game. But when platforms ask to spend brands extensively, massively to give them visibility, where do you draw a line, or do you also call it arm twisting?
See, I started in 2003 in this industry, and I was in sales and then at the agency side today and the brand side. And I've been negotiating, I've been part of negotiations for all these years. The one thing that I've learned in a negotiation is everyone has the power to say no. There is no such thing as arm twisting. This is demand supply, right? If somebody wants my business on the terms in which I want to do the business with them, or if somebody wants me to do business with them on the terms that they want me to do business, either it's a yes or it's a no. Why do I have to get my arm twisted to do business?
Okay, so I heard one day that GCPL spends 80 to 85% of digital money on CTV. So, what makes you so confident about CTV? And honestly, do you have a plan B if CTV doesn't scale as much as it's shown?
Yeah. See, we see it slightly differently, right? We see it as large screen versus small screen. So for us, TV and CTV are large screen. Mobile is small screen. We see it as one to many versus 1:1. So for us, CTV is nothing but, we're seeing it in the, first of all, we're agnostic about all mediums. But when you have to bring it to the closest possible medium, just in terms of the parlance of this conversation, it is linear TV and CTV. So either linear TV will grow, or CTV will grow, or both will grow, or people stop watching TV in this country. So the likelihood of people stopping watching television in this country is low, at least if we look at historical data. Right? It's not like TV penetration has dropped in this country. You still have 210 million, 220 million households in this country that have television sets. The mode of reception is changing. 160 million of those have linear TV today. The rest of them have connected TV. Right? Ballpark numbers. So, if the number of TV owning households starts dropping, then something else will come up where people consume entertainment. Like I was telling you, we went into this, I think it was Indore or one of those places. We met multiple housewives, some of them slightly, less affluent, said that we don't want to replace a TV set. Because today mobile is a necessity, TV is a luxury. तो वो तबका भी है इंडिया में. But the consuming class, will they go away from will they take a television set off their house? I don't see that situation, quite honestly.
But how do you deal with this measurement challenge on CTV?
It is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. It's something that I think it's extremely important for BARC, which is our rating agency, to actually take steps on it. I know that there are steps that they want to take on it. We do hope that they are able to actually see that measurement is quite broken in this country. It is not cross screen, it is within screens also things are broken. So for example, the last establishment survey that BARC did was in 2018. They're still holding on to a 210 million household, linear TV household number. Whereas if you look at the latest EY number or you look at TRAI numbers, it says 160 million households are there at TV. So can you see the gap between 210 million and 160 million, right? Within that, the rating, like what they're reporting, we have no question around that. That's what is coming is right. It's the sheer quantum of the number of households that is getting reported is something that we would want them to give us a more recent view of. Either TRAI is right or BARC is right. Likelihood of TRAI being right is higher because it's more recent.
Is there some work happening on this front?
Yeah, we ourselves are trying to figure out what the number is, and we've put out our own, we're investing money to figure out these numbers. We are working with research.
Personally as GCPL?
Yes, as an organization as GCPL, yes. Look, we are also wanting to work along with ISA, or as members of ISA, we want ISA to take this up. ISA is taking this up. It's on a certain path. But we are spending money every day, right? So we have to be true to our plans today. Having said that, the measurement system across requires a certain amount of change to happen. Connected TV, we don't get one view of the entire connected TV deployment. We don't know what our competitors are doing. Our competitors don't know what we are doing. These are these walled gardens that exist. In the US and UK, World Federation of Advertisers has gotten walled gardens to come together and start reporting. Hopefully in India also that will happen.
When will that happen? Do you see it happening?
I don't know. Hopefully the earlier the better. But there are other companies that we are working with, which are able to give us one view in some form or the other. It's not ideal, but we have to continue to try. The last IRS happened in 2018. So print system is, where it is.
Yeah.
So it is, OOH was always struggling as far as measurement was concerned. Cinema was always struggling as far as measurement was concerned. So there is, forget about cross screen, within screen only there is a problem.
Absolutely.
And these are deep problems. These are not
So
like,
while we're working on these problems,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how soon we'll find a solution to it, because there are bigger players who are not letting it happen.
I don't know, I don't want to comment on that quite honestly, but I do know that there is a need. And I do know that organizations like ours are willing to invest time, money, energy, our own whatever little intellect we have to get these things going.
So if cross screen measurement comes, do you think that this will also boost media spends?
It will. The fact is that any medium that's measured, and the more robust the measurement, the bigger case one is making. See, we have to remember that there is also significant amount of money that's going into below the line. At the end of the day, it is coming from the same pot, right? So, the more one is able to justify, in the here and now it may seem tough, but you may be able to pull money from BTL. Somebody may see, get more convinced about the fact that, this measurement system is a lot more robust. We know of a lot from my days of sales and even today, a lot of retail advertisers don't believe in rating system. They tend to believe that what they are watching or their relatives are watching is what it is.
Okay.
But if you are able to show them that it's a lot more robust, these are the most intelligent people. They're the ones who will actually go out and start investing that much more. So any system, you see any medium which has good measurement will get more money. The fact that certain mediums are not doing well or historically have never done well, 1, 2, 5% of the ADX, is because the measurement system has never evolved.
Understood. So everyone talks about being future ready with buzzwords like AI, CTV, data. But according to you, what is that one structural risk that no one seems to be paying enough attention to?
The structural risk is the minute you get away from your consumer, or you start imagining that the consumer is your version of what the consumer is. As long as you're true to going out and spending time with the consumer, genuinely spending time with the consumer, you're pretty safe as a marketer.
That doesn't really answer my question, because this is not a structural risk. Of course, everybody wants to stay close to the consumer and they do their own consumer research. Is there something else that you think that we must focus on to actually ride on these buzzwords?
Okay. I genuinely wish what you were saying is true, that everyone's going out and spending as much time with consumer. I wish people did, for the sake of my peers in this industry and my, but okay, let's move on from that. I think structurally what we are most excited about is the world of AI. I was telling you about this content factory that we put up in South Africa, where we are now able to generate content at this significant pace, all avatar led, all AI generated. That's something that's phenomenal. It's just going to go there and it's going to change the way in which communication happens. It's going to be reach on the basis of the number of creatives that you can put out as well, right? And in that GCF model. So that's one. I think the other thing that we should all keep an eye out for is the way in which the entire first party, second party data ecosystem is evolving. How very quickly it's all going to get democratized, right? Because what we believe is that we'll move from first party and second party data to every party data. And at that point in time, the amount of effort, money that has gone into building these so-called exclusive first party data pools, that's the structural change that one has to watch out for. So we are, the MRPs that we operate are 10 rupees, 45 rupees, 99 rupees. It's not viable for us to build these first party data pool at a cost that's making sense. But my observation, a lot of FMCG players tend to be doing that right now. Until unless your average order value is sitting at anywhere between 500, 600 rupees, your CACs and your cost of deployment and your cost of logistics will never justify this entire game. So at least doesn't make sense to the way in which we are seeing the maths. So that's a structural risk that I see a lot of people carrying.
This makes me actually think. But so we've talked about a lot of things in our conversation, and you've already spent more than 2 decades in the industry. So 10 years down the line, how do you think, how do you want people to remember Harshdeep Chhabra?
Well, I'd be the happiest if people remember me as being the same guy who came into the industry, albeit a slightly more mature version of who I was at the age of 23. If they still see me as who I was where I started off, as a young, enthusiastic professional who was always willing to learn, wanting to contribute back, I think I would have done justice to my so-called legacy. Just staying true to the roots.
कुर्सी और आदमी को अलग रखना चाहिए.
हमेशा.
So we had a really serious conversation. एक छोटा सा पार्ट है, एक फन रैपिड फायर राउंड मुझे आपके साथ करना है.
ये तो सरप्राइज है, ये तो नहीं पता.
Let's loosen up.
Okay.
So, if not media, what career would you have picked?
If not media, I would probably have become a table tennis player.
Do you play it now?
I've been playing till recently, yes.
Because it's a rapid fire, I'll move on to my next question.
Okay, sure.
The one song that instantly changes your mood?
Another brick in the wall.
Coffee or cutting chai?
Coffee.
Last show you binged on OTT?
MasterChef, Australia.
If you had to explain your job to a 10-year-old, what would you say?
जो आप टीवी में ऐड देखते हो वो मैंने ही लगाया है.
Okay. If you had to ban one industry buzzword forever, what would it be?
Relationships. And relationships for the sake of the word relationships.
That one mistake FMCG brands still repeat in media?
Think medium first.
Media metric you secretly dislike but everyone keeps quoting?
We are the number one.
If you could take one global media practice and import it straight into India, what would it be?
The learnings that we're getting from TikTok.
A marketer you secretly stalk on LinkedIn?
Sanjeev Mehta.
Okay, so with this I come to the end of my rapid fire round. Is there something that you want to tell our audience and we haven't talked about in our conversation?
No, I think it's been extremely nice, this conversation. It's been a pretty thought-provoking conversation. So thank you very much for the questions that you asked, first of all. I think the one thing that I would like to leave behind with the audiences, and especially the younger lot, is just enjoy what you're doing. Because just, if you genuinely enjoy what you're doing, over a period of time, this entire thing of burnout and stress and all of that it won't impact as much as it is likely to impact if you don't enjoy what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Harsh, joining
Pleasure.
us at Best Media Info. This session was quite enriching. Hope our audience also likes it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming across.